All right. Thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Hannah Perkey. I'm CEO of Evelo team with Keller Williams Realty. I'm joined by Bob Woerner, and we're here to do our monthly market update to let you know what's happening in the real estate industry here in Central Indiana. We're going to be looking at data from the past 12 months leading through July. So we'll get started here. Bob, go ahead and kick us off. What happened in the local housing market in July?
Yep. So as you mentioned, let's just get straight into it. So we always start with the median sales price. So that ended the month of July at 299, which was down just a tiny bit over where we were in July 2023 at 0.03 down. So pretty consistent there. Our median days on market was 10. It looks like a bigger percentage because it was a jump of 42.9% over last year, but we were at 7 last year. So again, that's pretty relative, and we've been tracking it that like 8 to 10 for the last several months. So that's pretty consistent with what we've been seeing. Next up is that month supply of inventory. So again, in general, keeping in mind that a balanced market is about a 4 to 6 month supply of inventory. If we have more than that, generally considered a buyer's market. If we have less than that, generally considered a seller's market. So we're still way under inventory for a balanced market, coming in at 1.6%, but that was up almost 21% year over year. Last July, we were at 1.3%. So we've got some other slides that will kind of show us what's happening there. And then we look at that average percent of list price received. So for the whole market, we've seen an average list price to sales price ratio of 97%. So we've been seeing that come down a little consistently. We've been floating in that 97 and 98% for at least the last year, but that was down a little bit more year over year. And I was just kind of curious myself. I'll just point out these back in 2022 and 2021. We had more than 50% of the sales that, or I'm sorry, we were averaging over, 100% pretty consistently. So some changes there. Good news for buyers. Still a strong market for sellers. So this one is just our active inventory. I might have slid into the next set of slides there. Just some other ones we started to keep track of recently. And I'll point out this number only because we crossed 5,000 again. So this is another one, just kind of looking at this graph over the last few years, going back to really late 2019. There's only been one other time since 2019 that we went over 5,000, and that was around the fall of last year. So that was an interesting number, and that's a pretty big jump from where we were last July. We had 4,027 listings at the end of July 2023, and we're up above 5,000. So we might see that inventory start to bump up a little more. I'll just keep rolling. Closed sales, we were at 3,134, again, up a little bit from where we were last year. And the last couple to round this out, the new listings, we were at 3,547. Again, pretty small incremental changes from where we were last year at 2.2%. I'll just take a second here. I always explain to people we see that spike of listings kind of happen every year. So it normally starts in February, March, and will continue to rise until May, June. And we're obviously seeing that trend on smaller spikes, but we've seen that for the last couple of years. And then to round out this one, we always take a look at the number or the percent of sales that closed above list price. And for July, we ended at 23.2. So we're seeing that one continue to dwindle down a little bit as well. Last year, July, we ended at 27%. So that's kind of the changes we've seen so far.
Awesome. Love it. Yeah, we were talking in the office today about the inventory hitting over 5,000, right? I know you mentioned that because we're like, wow, that's just a big monument to see that we haven't. And so it is changing what it looks like when we're going out with buyers, especially we do a lot with relocation on our team. So to know that there's more options if someone flies in for the weekend to be able to show them, which is great.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how about interest rates currently? How are things going with that?
Yep, so they're actually trending down pretty significantly. The unfortunate thing is the slide I have here is updated every Thursday. So it still is down. The last time we did this last month, we were at 6.89 for the 30-year fix. We've dropped to 6.73. Again, this is a weekly primary mortgage market survey that's done on Thursdays. If we were a couple days later, I guess just tomorrow is Thursday, where the day's gone this week, I think we're going to see a pretty significant drop. I have seen a couple lenders send out rate information that they have dropped down to the low sixes this week. So I don't, again, there's no belief that we're headed back to that 3% range. But the pundits, so to speak, or the predictors have, reasonably felt that it would land somewhere in that 6 to 6.5% range by the end of the year. It seems like we're probably headed in that direction. We took a bit of a big dip. I don't know if it'll kind of stay steady there for a few weeks or if we'll maybe start to see some incremental increases and then do the little ups and downs that we've done here. But we were up nearly 8% last October. So, we're down more than a whole point even from where we were in the winter of this year. So that's a pretty significant change.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right. So what about any final thoughts with the state of the market right now? Anything else you'd leave us with?
Yeah, always try to find something. I found this slide a little bit interesting. Over 2/3 of Americans have paid off their mortgage or have at least 50% equity. I think that's a pretty crazy number. So you can see the percent that own their home free and clear is almost 39, a little over 39%. Those that have a mortgage but greater than 50% equity is at 30%. So that's a huge number, right? And so if you've maybe kind of been sitting on the fence a little bit, and just kind of curious, obviously your equity can go a long way towards purchasing your next home, whether that's moving into a bigger home, downsizing, buying something nicer, right sizing. And so if you're just kind of interested in getting a professional opinion on what your equity position is in your home, obviously would be happy to help with that. Whether it's an agent you've worked with in the past on the team or someone new, would be happy to sit down and pull that information for you to give you an idea where things stand.
Yeah, absolutely. Or buying a vacation home. So if you want to pull some of that equity out and look at a vacation home, we have a great network and we've had some clients do that. Especially as we head into a colder season. I know it doesn't feel like it right now, but in the next few months, if Florida or Arizona is looking more enticing, we can help connect there. All right. Well,
Absolutely.
thanks,
As the
Bob, for
rates go
putting.
down, that's a good
Yes,
option. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And a lower down payment. So if you're looking at a vacation home, we won't dig into that too much, but it is a lower down payment than like an investment property. So love to answer questions on that in case that's something that you're interested in. All right. Thanks so much, Bob, for putting that together. Thanks for joining us today. We'll be back next month with some updated data and we'll see where things stand with inventory and interest rates as those are both moving areas that we're seeing right now. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us at 317-863-9011 or at info@eveloteam.com or always through our website, eveloteam.com. Thanks so much and we hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.